I, 29 female, was pretty much disowned by my entire family when I came out at 18. My parents gave me 5 minutes to grab my things before shutting me outside. It honestly felt like a bad dream. I remember watching my mom set the kitchen timer before telling me to hurry up. I couldn't stand using any sort of countdown timer for a long time after that. I remember telling them there was no way I could live alone, that I was their kid, and they should want to love and support me. My father told me that I made this bed by choosing my lifestyle, so I should grow up and learn to live in it. I turned out pretty okay. I was able to go on to college on a few scholarships and not too many loans. I met my wife during my freshman year, and I've been with her ever since. We have a toddler daughter who's the most precious little person in the world. We bought a house, and we both have decent paying jobs. I consider myself incredibly lucky, and I can't imagine my life without my wife and our daughter. I don't keep in touch with my bio family, so I don't know how my parents got my contact info, but they did. My mom sent me a message detailing the financial issues they were going through. They had to sell the house I grew up in, and they moved to some apartments. At the end of the message, my mom asked if I'd be willing to help them out a little by letting them stay with me. I didn't respond to the message. I just planned on pretending like I never saw it. But then I got a call the other day, and as soon as I answered it, I realized my dad was on the other line. He told me the same thing my mom did, and that they needed help. I said, "That really sucks. I hope you figure it out." He then flat out asked if I was seriously not going to provide them with any assistance. I asked why he wanted my help, and he told me that I should want to support my parents the way they supported me growing up. I replied saying that maybe if their support of me hadn't ended the moment I told them I was a lesbian, I'd be willing to help them. But unfortunately, they made their bed themselves, so they could lay in it too. I hung up on him, and later he left a voicemail calling me selfish and cruel for using their financial struggles to prove a point. Maybe it is cruel. I don't know. Am I the idiot? Normally I take the route of temperance and advocate taking the high ground, but not this time. Big not the idiot. If they let bigotry abandon their daughter, they no longer deserve to have a daughter. They don't get to pick you back up as their child when they need help. They made it clear that you were on your own, so that works both ways. Yeah, I was gonna say this. They disowned you, OP, and didn't bother to try to reconcile until they needed your help. Well, too flipping bad. They did indeed make this bed with their own crappy lifestyle choices, and they can lay in it. And you feel guilty because you have a heart. They don't. Right? What about an 18-year-old OP struggles to live after being thrown out with whatever she could grab in 5 minutes? I remember watching my mom set the kitchen timer before telling me to hurry up. My goodness, what awful, awful people. They didn't even reach out when she married and had their grandchild. But now that they need money, OP's suddenly good enough? They really deserve to rot in the bad place. Don't feel guilty. Your parents were legally obligated to support you to 18. The second that legal obligation was done and you did something they didn't like, they threw you out. Your parents are not entitled to anything for supporting you growing up because that was their legal and moral obligation. If they bug you about it again, just ask why they want to partake in your sinful lifestyle. Surely living with 2 lesbians who are married is not just condoning such a lifestyle, but actively encouraging and benefiting from it. And all those lesbian meals, the horror. OP, do you think they'll respect your home and your family? I doubt it. More likely, once moved in, they'll try to take charge and set their own rules because they're your parents and they don't see your marriage and family as real. Just send them some links to resources like soup kitchens and food pantries and such, and it would be more than they did for you. Update. Thank you all for this. It makes me feel better knowing that I'm protecting my family from their hatred. If I could make a perfect world and keep my kid away from bigots forever, I would. Also, when I told my partner that I felt a little guilty about my parents, she told me I was 100% allowed to get a kick out of that poetic justice. LOL. So I sent my mom an email with links to soup kitchens, food pantries, housing assistance, etc., and then I blocked both her and my dad. I might change my number if they try calling again, but I'm gonna leave it as it is for the time being. I don't know if my wife's trying to play some Pokemon Gotta Catch 'em All for TV subscriptions, but she subscribed to over 15 TV services that cost monthly bills without even letting me know beforehand. I found out while checking my account today. She looked through my work bag for my credit card to get the subscriptions without my knowledge. I asked her why she needed all these subscriptions, and she said having more variety is nice. I was really upset she decided to go behind my back and purchase all these things, so I canceled the subscriptions and told her she could watch free stuff instead and learn to ask me next time before spending my money. She threw a tantrum and called me a jerk. But it's my money. It is singularly in my account, not joint. My wife does no housework, we have a maid, and no children. I'm not controlling her money. She has none because she decided to quit her job despite my wishes 2 months into the marriage. So am I the idiot for canceling my wife's TV subscriptions? Edit. Divorce is not feasible in our cultural environment. Well, it sounds like you guys will not be able to make your marriage work and should divorce. But if divorce is impossible, I guess trying to stay out of each other's way is the best you can do. I wouldn't pay for 15 subscriptions either. Not the idiot. She does seem to be the entitled stay-at-home wife without any responsibility. You are the idiot. You don't punish her like a child. You should each have your own spending money so that you can spend without consulting the other. Then if she wants to spend that on TV subscriptions, she can. You don't get all the say over the finances. You're both part of the marriage. If you stay together because you can't divorce, try getting to know one another and asking what she wants. I doubt she watches 16 hours of TV every day. How's anyone here saying he's even slightly an idiot? She stole his credit card. She quit her job after he was trapped to be lazy and feed off of his income. He has every right to tell her she needs to ask before purchasing completely unnecessary things if it's his money. Most of the people here saying he's an idiot sound like the ones living in mommy's basement for free. The crux of the problem isn't her being subscribed to 15 things. It's stealing your credit card and going behind your back to waste money on wants, not needs, while refusing to get her own job. Maybe involve her family since all parties would be negatively affected by divorce and separation. It takes two to tango. You two have to be able to work together to get through this lifetime. If you can't resolve it between yourselves, get help. I hope things get easier. My nearly adult daughter, Kim, is going through a hard time with her mental health. It's gotten to a point where Kim refuses to go to school almost every day. In January, she went to school for 4 days, total. We've been working with the school to allow Kim to get homework digitally, but she doesn't keep up with it. My wife and I got her into therapy and counseling through her school last fall, but the results of that have been mixed, as I don't think Kim is putting in the necessary work on her end. She's on medication, but we're still working with her doctor to find the right combination to meet her needs. If Kim had her way, she'd just spend all day in bed with her laptop. She doesn't do anything to help around the house, doesn't work, doesn't go to school, doesn't eat meals with the family, and just sits in her room on her computer all day and night. We've tried so many different things, and nothing has made any positive change. It's infuriating and heartbreaking at the same time. One constant throughout all of this has been her computer and her phone. She's on them constantly. No matter how many times we bring this up to her, that maybe she needs to spend less time in front of a screen, she insists that that isn't the cause of her problems. So finally, I decided to change our Wi-Fi password to one only my wife and I know. I change it every night before we go to sleep and wait to change it back to the one the kids know until we get home from work. Kim was unhappy and used up all of our family data plan in less than a week, so we had to change our plan to restrict her usage. At first, my wife was on board with this, as she also felt Kim was spending too much time on her phone and computer. But after Kim basically threw a gigantic tantrum about it, my wife isn't so sure. Kim tried to argue that if we want her to do her schoolwork at home, she needs the internet. But she wasn't doing the work anyway, so that argument didn't really hold water for me. Instead, she tried saying that she needed the internet to access her support network. Still, we take her to therapy and counseling in person, and I feel if she puts more effort into those, then maybe she'll make some progress. Kim hates me for this and told me that restricting her internet access in this day and age is abuse. My wife is also wavering on this idea because Kim isn't showing any positive changes and still isn't going to school. Every single day is an emotional roller coaster for me. Anger, frustration, embarrassment, futility, failure, fear. I know Kim is struggling, and seeing your child go through something you can't fix is a heck I wouldn't wish on anybody. All I'm trying to do is gently force Kim to focus on her issues and take the steps necessary to address them and make progress toward being a functional adult. She has 3 acceptance letters to colleges that she's very unlikely to attend now. Not the idiot, because this is an impossible situation, and I really feel for all of you. It's very possible that your daughter's support network is online. It's also very possible that this is toxic and could be detrimental to her mental health. Without actually speaking to her, it's impossible to know. Seek professional support for yourself too. You'll need someone to support you as you navigate through this together. If you enable her, she may never shake it. She's old enough to know that this is the time for her to heal and get a handle on her issues. Letting her be a lump and facilitating it can rob her of her functional adulthood for life. She needs to learn that there won't always be mommy and daddy around to scrape her off the floor. What kind of diagnosis does she have? What medications have you tried? Have you asked her if she feels she has a good connection with her therapist? There are so many factors here. I have ADHD and didn't get diagnosed until my late 20s. I could spend all day staring at a screen, knowing I had schoolwork, but unable to force my brain to focus on it. Not because I'm lazy, not because I didn't want to, but simply because of a neurodevelopmental that results in my brain not processing certain neurochemicals correctly. Getting a diagnosis, medication, and a good therapist has helped, but sometimes it's still a struggle. Your daughter's screen time might be a symptom, not the cause of her problem. I have a baseball cap from my childhood that has a Barbie logo on it. It's black, with the name Barbie in pink with a fancy font. My son loves it. He's only a toddler and doesn't know what it says. He only likes it because we were looking through the basement at my parents' house, and he came across the hat and a photo of me wearing it when I was younger. He got super excited when he saw the picture and has been in love with the hat ever since. He calls it the mama hat, and everyone thinks it's cute. We were having dinner with my sister-in-law and her family. My sister-in-law has a preteen daughter who I love. She really likes Barbie, and everything she owns is Barbie themed. I had a feeling that maybe it wouldn't be best for my son to wear the Barbie hat while we were there, but he really wanted to show his uncle, aka his best buddy, and my husband said it shouldn't be a big deal, so I allowed it. The night went pretty well, but I noticed my sister-in-law was a little quiet. Right before we left, she pulled me aside and asked if I could do her a big favor. She asked if I could sell her the Barbie hat. I asked her why she wanted the hat, and she said her daughter's been eyeing it all night and asked for one. I told her to buy one online or something, but she said that she felt like that would be a waste. I said I was sorry, but I wasn't giving her the hat. She argued that my son is a boy, and once he realizes it's Barbie themed, he'll throw it away anyway. I explained that she could ask for it again when the time comes, and I'll think about it. I thought that was it, but she went to my son directly and started telling him how Barbie's for girls, and that the hat is Barbie. He got upset because to him, it's not a Barbie hat, it's a mama hat. I was over it though, and told her she wasn't getting it ever, that if he decides he doesn't want it anymore, it's going straight to the garbage or my mom's basement again. She got all frustrated and said that I was being ridiculous. She accused me of being a childish idiot and said that I just broke her daughter's heart. Am I the idiot? I'm starting to feel a little bad. I might be doing a little too much over a silly old hat. Not the idiot, but she is. She tried to manipulate a toddler so she could steal from him. No one would be talking to my kid about gender stereotypes and what they can and cannot like. I agree with you and wouldn't give her the hat even if your son doesn't want it. She was very out of line. Yep, trying to confuse a toddler into giving something up that he loves and making it about gender too? The poor little guy's probably never even heard of Barbie. He just loves the hat because it's his mom's. I just Googled Barbie baseball cap, and there are easily options out there. If this was really about your sister-in-law wanting a similar hat for her daughter, it's easy enough to get her own. She was asking you to break your son's heart, and she's going to accuse you of breaking her daughter's heart, and she can just buy one online? Funny how a bully cannot take a no. Keep the mommy hat for later, when it may become the daddy hat. I, 52 male, own a 3-bedroom home with my wife, 52. Currently, my son, 27, and his girlfriend, 26, are living with us for a short while with their 2 sons, both preschoolers. My wife helps watch the boys during the week so that they can both work. The boys are not yet in school, and my living room has been replaced by the constant playing of Coco Melon or SpongeBob. I love my grandsons, but they play loudly outside their rooms and leave toys all around. And as I said, I can't even sit in my living room and relax and watch something on TV of my choice. My wife and I had sat down with my son and his girlfriend. We requested that once a week on one of their days off, in the afternoon, if they could take the kids out for a day, to the park or to the backyard, or keep them in the kids' room and turn on a movie. We understand the difficulties of keeping young children quiet. We had 3 of them, but we didn't think asking for one afternoon a week was unreasonable. My son got upset and said we expected them to use one of their few days off to take the kids out instead of relaxing. They both work 5 days a week, so I told them I understand that they're tired, but they are their children. My son's girlfriend said that this was an outrageous request and asked why we allowed them to move in, knowing they have small, loud children. I don't think I'm asking for too much. Only one afternoon a week for my wife and me to enjoy our living room. Expecting them to look after their own children is an outrageous request? What? These people are entitled as heck. If this is how they respond to a simple request, I'd hate to think how they respond to you setting a hard boundary, or God forbid, going on holiday. Jesus, not the idiot. Do yourself and your wife a favor and set some hard boundaries. If they move out, that's on them. In which universe is it outrageous to ask parents to care for their kids for one afternoon without relying on the living room? OP, I would just give them 30 days. Tell them since your request was too much, you think they should get their own place with their own sitter so they can always have the kids home. I'm really feeling even worse for your grandchildren here than you. They never go anywhere. Your wife keeps them in the house all week, and then their parents also keep them in the house on their days off. So they never get to go to any of the extremely normal and borderline necessary places that you mentioned, like the backyard. That doesn't sound healthy at all.